Hello everybody, we'll show here how I make iguana food for babies. This is how I make up my iguana food for my adults, and you can see here I just cut it into smaller pieces, little strips, and then cut those into smaller chunks. You just want everything to be kind of small because their teeth is very small, and they can't chew it if it's really thick, so you want to make it small enough for them to not choke on the food as well. So you just cut everything very fine, and it takes a few more minutes to do, but it's for your baby iguana, so it's worth it. So you just cut up. We got little green beans here, and you just cut those into little quarters, and makes it easier for them to digest as well as to be able to swallow them. And got a little bit of orange bell pepper here for a little added color, and you want to feed them the widest variety of foods that you can find, even if you have to call around to a couple of stores or just look around. You just want to make sure to get the widest variety of food. But you also need to go and research what is good food and bad food for iguanas. Now you can see here I've got a collard green, and I'm just using my fingers to just tear it into little pieces. All the little pieces have to be smaller than the space between the eyes on top of their head, and it just takes a few minutes to tear it into little pieces. If it tears off on a big piece, you tear it in half, and it's no big deal. And you want to do 2 or 3 types of greens a day at least, if not more. If you can find 6 or 7 different types of greens to feed them every day, just give them a little bit each day. You can see the bigger chunks here is how I make it up for my big iguanas. And when you're doing the greens, say like a collard green here, you want to just tear it off, use your thumb. As your iguana gets bigger, you can tear off a little bit bigger pieces. You try to leave out the little veins there. It just can hurt their gums. It could actually make their gums bleed a little bit because their teeth are so short, even though they're extremely sharp. And then you want to leave the stem out too. There's a couple reasons. Like I say, it's a little bit too hard for them to chew, and also there could be parasites in some greens. That's why usually people cook them before they eat them. So you want to leave those out as best as you can. Now also, when you're looking for food, ask your local grocery store. If they don't carry something, ask them to get it in for you so that you can get it. If they can't, then call around till you find one that can. It's up to you to get the right foods for your iguana. Another thing I'd like to do is use a veggie spray to wash the greens to get the pesticides off. There's so many pesticides out there, and they're sprayed on greens to make them safe for us, but iguanas are so much smaller than us that they get too much of the pesticides. And so you should wash your greens and vegetables off with a good veggie wash that's all natural. It doesn't leave any type of scent or residue, and it's a good way to clean them and keep your iguana more healthy. And Fit is the all-natural veggie wash that I use to clean my greens and vegetables before I feed them to my iguanas. Okay, and you want to use about 60 to 70% greens, like dandelions, collards, mustard green, turnip greens, escarole, arugula, watercress, endive or chicory. Hibiscus flowers and leaves are really good for them, as well as nasturtium. Then you have kale, beet greens, Brussels sprouts, parsley, and spinach. A lot of these are not very good for them to be used all the time. Swiss chard and cabbage, and bok choy is also in the cabbage family. Now you need to plan a little bit and research some of these greens, because some of them you can use a lot of the time, some of them you can't use a lot of the time. And you need to know which ones have too much phosphorus or oxalates in them that will cause problems if you use them a lot. So you need to do a little bit of research and plan what you're going to be feeding your iguana. Now this is what the stem should look like from a collard, a mustard green, and a turnip green when you get done peeling all the greens away from the hard stems. Now you want to use 30 to 40% veggies like snap peas, parsnips, yellow squash, okra, acorn squash, cactus leaves without the thorns, spaghetti squash, different types of bell peppers, butternut squash, zucchini, asparagus, sweet potato, pumpkin, celery, broccoli, and carrots. Now you still need to do a little research to find out what's in these and which ones you can use most of the time, half the time, and only once in a while. Each one has different chemicals and different makeups, so you need to know what's in the food you're going to be feeding your iguana and what you can use and what you can't. And you want to use about 10% or less of fruits like papaya, mangoes, watermelon, cantaloupe and other melons, banana, grapes, raspberries, strawberries, peaches, kiwi without the skin, starfruit, blackberries, cherries, and other types of fruits are good for them, but you don't want to overdo it because they have a lot of phosphorus in them. So you want to read up on those as well. Now we'll take a look and see what type of treats you can give your iguana as well. And you'll want to use less than 5% treats like cooked pasta, cooked rice, or even wheat bread can be really good for them, but only in small amounts. Now pet store brand foods usually have too much protein in them, so they should only be used like if you have to go out of town and you don't have somebody that can make up their food. You don't need to feed crickets or mealworms to an iguana, but you do have to watch out for poisonous plants like an azalea plant. One bite could kill an iguana. All pine oils are very toxic to iguanas as well, and they can eat small toys which will become blocked inside, pennies and other coins that will not pass through an iguana. They will become glued to the insides of their stomachs and slowly poison them. So you have to watch out for these things. Okay, let's talk about supplements for just a minute. I use Repcal's calcium without D3 and without phosphorus. You should never use any calcium with phosphorus in it. And I don't need the D3 because I only use Mega Ray UVB lighting. If you're using other brands of lights, then yes, you will need D3. I also used Herptovite. That's one of the better ones because instead of having vitamin A in there, they use beta-carotene, which is converted naturally in the body of the iguana to vitamin A, so they can't overdose on it. Now, once you get all of the foods put together on their plate, you can see here, I add a little bit of water in. Then I add in a little bit of Nutrabac DF, which is a probiotic, so that they can digest really good like a wild iguana. And also it gets rid of salmonella out of their system. Now I only use supplements about once a week or so for a young growing iguana, less for an adult, if they have a wide variety of foods. Now for more info on foods, please go to www.greeniguanasociety.org, or you can also check out www.anapsid.org for the best in UVB lights, supplements, and meters. Trust reptileuv.com. For lighting info you can trust, go to www.uvguide.uk for independent research. Well, thanks for watching my video, and I hope you learned something to help you be able to take care of your baby iguana so they can grow up big and healthy like mine are.